name of the building is Kinects. They told me it was about movement and also about connecting people. They wanted something roughly 20 feet tall. It's on the 6th floor terrace. So this is where people go to hang out. I played around with a lot of ideas, but I landed on spirals because it's one of the fundamental growth patterns. It's one of the basic shapes in nature. It's also a symbol that shows up across almost every culture, and it always has a positive meaning. The other thing about a helix is when you put it in motion, it appears to rise or fall depending on the direction it's turning. So you put two of them together, as they turn, they appear to connect. They appear to melt into one another. That was attractive to me. I wanted it to be kinetic but not frenetic. I want to build things that inherent in their existence. People are drawn to them, and if it brings people together to play or to engage, or if it just strikes a conversation, that'll make me happy.
I got into kinetic art in high school when my art teacher showed me a video of Alexander Calder and his circus. And I had been using wire in my art for a long time. As soon as I saw that piece that he had done, it was an immediate explosion of inspiration. The Rorschach chandelier itself stemmed from the idea of a Rorschach test and just being able to kind of look into this abstract shape and from your mind pull out what it resembles. The sculpture will be constructed mainly from welded steel and acrylic plates. It will have its brain, which is a series of stepper motors and gear heads which slow down these stepper motors, and then a system of pulleys. And that's basically about it. My collaborator, Ray Freeman, has been indispensable with making this actually function.
I know Casey from working with Center on Contemporary Art, and he has devised a method for people from the building where this is going to interact with the artwork through their phone devices or tablets or computers in a way that the sculpture will move differently depending upon who's in the building, what their preferences are. It's my job to develop the interfaces and the code that mediates between what those people input into their computers and what they have to say, translate that into motion of the artwork.
I'm just building the body, and he's actually putting a soul into it, kind of like Frankenstein. I'm Igor, he's actually Dr. Frankenstein. Honestly, I don't know what it's going to end up looking like. I can only create the parameters for it, but then as people start interacting with it, then it will become its own thing. And I think that that's a really interesting idea, that a sculpture can't be finished until people are actually utilizing it.
I'm doing a big piece that's it's called Surotsuga, which is the Latin name for Douglas fir. And the great thing about Seattle, it was covered with these forests, these Douglas fir forests. And now it's got this 42-story high-rise building on the site. And so my art piece, Surotsuga, is a way of capturing that forest that was once there and bringing it back. The piece itself, it's 30 feet tall, 11 feet wide, and it's covered with these 800 reflectors that are strung across this frame that gives it this curved shape. That's where the cone of the Douglas fir of the Surotsuga comes from. In the, I think 2002, I owned this house on Queen Anne here in Seattle. Remodeling the house, I stripped off all of these shingles that had been added in the 60s, but rather than carting them off to the dumpster, We set up 2 or 3 table saws and we would just feed them through these saws and cut them into these strips. We call it cedar gate. And so essentially it's a wall that's going to be 20 feet wide and almost 10 feet tall with these 3 entrances that you can pass through it. But it's made out of 7,000 to 9,000 of these cedar strips that you'll get inside of these volumes. It's hollow inside, so that's a cavity that we're filling with light. And as you move up and down, there's a point where you can see right through, and then you can't see, it obscures. So they have a screen quality to them, like a moire pattern that they can create as you move past them.